I think my story about why I got involved in martial arts is a little unique. I did actually practice as a young person for a very brief period of time, a little bit shy of a year, and really enjoyed it. I did actually practice, but then my family had moved, and it wasn't something that I really kind of kept up with. Always thought about it. I always kind of kept it in the back of my mind. But I was about 20 years old, and I had been living on my own for some time, and I moved into another apartment with a friend of mine. And so I moved from this one-bedroom to a two-bedroom apartment, and hadn't even lived there a few days. And was asleep one night, probably about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I woke up with this incredible migraine headache. And I had never had a migraine headache before, but it was just the most incredible pain and just this throbbing in my head. And I remember thinking, oh my God, I was in so much pain I didn't think I could get up to go get aspirin. And then I realized that it wasn't a migraine. There was a man standing over me, beating me over the head with a flashlight. And it was the most terrifying thing I had ever experienced. I don't think people understand what the term paralyzed with fear is until they've been in a situation like that. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. I couldn't move. I could do nothing. And at some point, though, I was able to gain a little bit of my wits about me and got up, turned into an altercation, actually a fist fight. I was fortunate enough to be able to kick him in the groin and literally bust out my window and jump out my window. Luckily, I lived on the first floor, and run to safety. But what happened after that is really what got me involved in martial arts, because what happened is I would come home from work then, and I would have to go through this ritual of coming in, making sure my doors were locked, looking in my bed, in my closet, and pulling back the shower curtain and looking under the bed, because I was so afraid that somebody was hiding in my apartment, which is what had happened before. This person had actually been hiding in my apartment and waiting for me. And I would get to the point where it was like I was starting to be able to breathe again, and I would sit down on my couch and I'd watch TV, and then you'd hear the creak, and my heart would start beating again, and I would start to feel icky again, and then I would have to get up and do that exact same procedure all over again. And at some point I thought, I can't go through my life living like this. This is crazy. And got very involved in going to self-defense clinics. And I thought, well, I'll go to a self-defense clinic. And they were great. I always enjoyed them. But the problem with that was you go to a clinic, and then 2 weeks later you forget 99.9% of the things that you learned. But I was felt empowered. That was a great thing about it. And at some point I thought, I really need to become a student of the martial arts. And I looked around and been to some schools, and I knew what it was that I wanted. I wanted to be in a school that was going to be surrounded by other like-minded people. I was going to learn not only self-defense, but also the skills in being able to know when and when not to use them, how to be able to communicate with my body that I'm not the type of person that you should mess with. And I knew that if I could do that, I'd have the self-confidence that I needed to be able to be successful in life. And looked around and found the Martial Arts Center, and began practicing, and began learning, and began working with other people. And there's no feeling in the world like when you hit a pad and you hit it hard and you know that you could have really done some damage if you needed to. Or when you're grappling and somebody takes you to the ground and you're like reversing the situation, and now you're on top. And to have a 200 and some odd pound guy underneath you, tapping, it's an awesome feeling. So, and I think, for me, more than anything, is the self-confidence. I would say number one thing is the self-confidence, because now I just know. When I'm walking to my car, I know if I'm in a situation that I can handle myself. I think, though, because of that, I send off the signals to any would-be attackers, no, we're not going to mess with her. But if they did, I can take care of myself. And I think that would honestly 100% be my number one thing. And I've been asked this question, and if somebody were to offer me $1 million to trade or to give up the things that I've learned as a result of practicing, no way. I wouldn't do it for all the money.